Hey guys, 4x4 diesel. Yep, we're just going to do a bit of a bits and pieces video. I'm going to give you a few warnings about a couple of things. The reason I'm looking at this vehicle right now is this is a disaster waiting to happen. There's a reason the manufacturer puts insulation over the battery terminals. You know, normally there's a plastic cover, red, positive. We've been through it before where the negative, right, the negative is earth to the vehicle. So the whole vehicle, all these metal parts, is all negative. It's all black, if you like, trying to put it in simple layman terms. Black, negative, you know, the minus symbol, the whole vehicle is negative. So anything you touch, the positive, the red, the plus sign, this one here, or anything connected to it, it's a short circuit. So it can cause a number of problems. You can cause battery explosions. That's probably worst case scenario. Anything to just a few sparks, which can be the cause of the battery explosion. You can fry, you know, electricals and that can get expensive. And if you're lucky, you might just blow a fuse. But when you work out how hard it is to change, you'll work out that you weren't that lucky. And we're going to quickly go through in the workshop here. We've just had someone change one of those fuses. So in a moment, I'm going to get him to explain a little bit about changing that for a minute or two. But I just want to point out what the problem, can you see the problem here? So firstly, the insulating cover's not there. It's not there because look how long this bolt is sticking up, I'm guessing. You know, something going on there. That's great if you want to add 1,000 accessories on there, but it probably needs to be shorter and the cover needs to be on there. It is really important actually. So all these wires for other cables and stuff, they all need to be put into a, what's the word? A position, in a configuration so that the cover fits on. Now, the biggest issue really is regularly you might want to check your oil. So you go like this to pull the dipstick out. If you pull it sort of this way a little bit or by accident, oh, you're not going to do that, are you? So you pull it out, you clip it, but when you go, I'm going to be really careful here, pushing it back in. Look, see how it cocks sideways? Look, see how it kind of, you got to push it in because, you know, dipsticks are a bit tight. And what if it goes this way, right? What if it goes like that and touches there? Yeah, we've got fireworks, right? And when you got fireworks, then you know, the end result can be those things we've already been through. I'm not going to waste my time to go through it again. So you can do damage. Now, one of the things that's never happened to me, so I'm certainly not the expert on it, I've heard it from a number of people. There is a big main fuse in this fuse box here, right, in here. And it's very difficult to get to. It's bolted in from underneath. And because someone here's just done one, and he's fresh on the job, we're going to go over to the vehicle next door. This is the mechanical job that's happening here. But on the vehicle in the next bay, it's a auto electrical job, and for whatever reason that fuse is blown and it's just been replaced. So what you're after is information on how to change it, and I can give you the most important part right now for those people that are in a hurry and they want to go, and that is don't blow the fuse whatever you do, because then you won't have to face the headache and the amount of work involved in changing that fuse. Let's go over and have a look. But of course, just before we go over to the other vehicle that's going to be fitted out neat and tidy, you know, auto electrical extraordinaire, let's have a look. I just need to change a fuse, check the fuses, or mate, can I even get the lid off this box? I mean, have a look at this box. There's that much, the isolator, the wires in every direction, and you know, like, even if you can get it off, you won't get it out of the way. You've got this, it's just, yeah, so, you know, good luck, you can get to it. And then it's going to be jammed in there. Thanks for your help, mate. You know, like everything's in the way. So not a good setup. Not picking on the vehicle or the owner really. I'm picking on, well, I'm picking on people should think before they do all this. And I'll tell you what, if this was mine, I'd start again. I'd just rip it all out and start fresh, because, you know, I've got different systems and beliefs to what other people have with, you know, wiring setups and maybe what charges you need and where you need isolators and fuses and circuit breakers and insulation and all that. But I think we can all agree this is just garbage. All right, electricals, here we are, right? So before we finish, I'm going to go back to the other vehicle. I said it's going to be a bit of mixed info this video. It's just a bit of a make it up as we go and see what we've got to talk about. But on the other vehicle, I also want to show you something else. So can anyone remind me? I'm not finished on that one. We'll get back over there in a minute. Okay, so here we are. This battery looks pretty fresh. That's a made in Australia battery. That's a Century battery, you know, obviously supplied by Battery World. May or may not be branded with Century. There it is, Yuasa. So it's the Yuasa Power Series, right? Because Yuasa brought Century many years ago, and a lot of the quality batteries are made, you know, elsewhere. Yuasa, GS Yuasa, right? All the original equipment that come in the Toyotas, all right? And these batteries, I'll tell you honestly, they're good batteries, but they're just not as good. They're not as good. I wish I could say these Australian-made batteries, they're the best. They're just awesome. They're good batteries. They're good value for money. If you need a cranking battery for your vehicle, no problem. But they're just not as good. You know me, I like the Optimas. Let's not go there. That's all in other videos. All right, so long story short, the fuse in here, mate, do you mind popping the lid off that box, because we can access it on this vehicle and show everyone which fuse we're talking about, what it's called, how many amps it is, what holds it in, and just imagine you've got like a 2-minute limit, because these people, well, what's wrong? He's giving me a look. What have you got, a fart or something? So I think he had to fart or something, I'm not sure, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Back to this one just for a minute. I'm just joking about that, by the way. See the angle as well. So if we had the angle of the battery terminal over square how it should be, it'd give a little bit more distance to, you know, instead of like, we're sort of like asking for trouble here. And you can see where if the cover was on there, it wouldn't short out. Now that's not what I came back for. I wanted to come back, see the suction control valve, that shiny thing down there in the middle of the picture. That's on the back of the supply pump. And I've mentioned it before, you should replace that if you've got the short one or the compact type. That is, the short one is what we refer to as the compact type. There's a push type and a pull type, and the short one is the problematic one. They are just rubbish, and this is what they look like. Thanks for that. Look at that. Right, short. That's about it's about an inch long, 30 mil something. You're going to stick your finger down next to the other one as well down there. How about you get your finger down here now? Anyway, right, you should be able to tell from watching my videos which is the long and the short. Generally 05, 6, 7, 8 to around 09 somewhere is going to have the short one. If you haven't changed it, you can get one with your injector kit, or you can get one afterwards, whatever. Let's go back to the other vehicle and see if he's popped one out yet. Okay, so we've got the cover out of the way. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Nice and clean and everything like that. And you know, look, when you've got a blown fuse, you know, you just, if the fuse is blown, you can just take it out like that, right? Look at that, beautiful. Easy to change that fuse, isn't it? Look at that, right? Now, what happened, mate? Which one was blown?
The main one. 120 amp.
Yeah. Well, so we just take it out and change it, don't we? Yeah. It's not coming out. Hang on, get me a big pair of pliers or something. Hang on, there's nothing wrong with that fuse. Nothing wrong with it, mate. Oh, you've already changed it. Okay,
that's
you
right.
got. Let's grab the old one there. Let's grab the old one and just show everyone. Man, oh, there's nothing left of that. Let's compare. Comparison. Wow, that's fried. That's for sure, right? Okay, so that's the old fuse. Now, so I can't get it out, mate. What's going on? It won't come out. Why won't it come out?
Have a look at that. That's the leak on it.
Looks like it's bolted in or something. Looks like it's got a 10mm bolt M6 or something holding it in.
That's right.
Yeah, funny that. Why would they bloody do that?
Big amperage.
Yeah, you don't want it to come out.
That's
You
right.
don't want people pulling out while the car's running. Surely there's a better system than... So how do you get to... Where's the bolt, mate? Must be just here somewhere. It's got to be easy to get to, doesn't it? Maybe we just pop it open and get it out, yeah? Should be...
Good luck.
Yeah, so honestly, how long would you budget to change this fuse? How long do you reckon it takes?
Depends on what accessories is around it. It can be anywhere between 2.5 to or more.
Yeah, so minimum 2 or 3 hours, right? And that's this has got not much around it, really, is it? You know.
That's after I clean it up.
Yeah, right. Because all the other stuff was in the way, right? Okay. So what's the main process? What do we have to do? What are the items we have to pull out of the way?
Battery has to come out.
Battery out. Yeah. Okay.
You gotta clear this whole area.
Yeah.
So that you
So
can.
the injector driver.
Yep. Injector driver has to be pushed back that way.
Yeah. Back over there somewhere.
There'll be 3 bolts. One in there.
Yeah.
And
Down
2
there.
on the side there.
Yep. Couple over here. Yep.
You got to loosen up the main wiring ring that runs all the way along here, so you can flip the box.
Yep. Flip it upside down.
Yep. And then you got to unclip it.
Yeah. All these clips, because this center bit in the middle here is all clipped into the outside part or something. Yeah.
That's correct.
The casing.
And then the most challenging part is trying to get this part to come out.
Yeah.
So it has to go downwards. Of course, you got to undo all that part there. So there's, I think from memory, there's about 6 to 8 of the clips on the inside, and you have to work it and then push it at the same time. I've got my own ways, and then once you push it through out that way, then you can access the twin bulbs.
Nice. I've never changed one, and I hope I never will. I plan to not ever change one, so if we have anybody contact me, you know, we'll be sending it your way, mate, you know. So I'll put a price on it. It sounds like about $400 to change that fuse plus the part, so it's going to be, well, no, it's going to be about, yeah, whatever, you know, somewhere there. That's a big job. Or you want to get handy pulling everything out, or you want to avoid that fuse getting blown. Anyway, yep, pretty boring so far. What else we got? Right, another one. What's this big fat pole in the middle here? I haven't seen one of these on a Prado before. What's going on here? What is that? Ah, looks like it's holding the bonnet up. What the hell? So, you know, we're going to need to hold the bonnet up with a bit of pipe if the bonnet struts aren't doing the job. Now, I've said it before, there's a number of vehicles that come in and the bonnet struts don't hold the bonnet up. It's actually a roadworthy requirement that they do, and it's very dangerous. And, you know, if we put, even if it, you know, so please, before you take your vehicle anywhere for a service, pop the bonnet yourself and see how well it's being held up. You can get aftermarket bonnet struts, right? So these struts there at the side there, you can get those aftermarket if you like from Burson's or Repco or wherever you like. You can check what cheap brand, even the cheap ones seem to do the job. Anything's going to be better than old ones that don't work. Very dangerous. And this bonnet actually skimmed someone's head, so they nearly lost their head. Not good. If the bonnet seemed like it was going to stay up and we were sort of, let's just imagine I was sort of here like this, you know, whatever, and I just went down here to these check something, and I'm just holding on there for a minute, you know, a bit of balance, not hanging off the vehicle, and, you know, a wind gust comes past. Hope I'm not like that, because it's bye-bye fingers. It's no more injectors for you. You need to do them all yourself, so I hope you've been watching the videos. Right, so obviously we're careful and we try and avoid these things, just like all your bloody zip ties that you don't cut off properly, your booby trap zip ties and all this sort of thing. So I wish people would really be watching these videos and consider these things, but it's really important that you do check your bonnet struts, not only for our safety, but yours and your family as well, because you never know. You could have some car trouble, open your bonnet, you're on the side of the road, you might have kids or something, and someone's there, and there's more likely going to be a wind gust outside in the open air, and someone's going to get hurt. So something to consider. And if you notice the coolant bottle's a bit full, that's because we've just completed another BFE job. So don't worry about that. Right, back over to the Hilux. Just a couple of quick things. Little tip for those people that hung around and they like the bits and pieces videos. For many years, many people have only used a VSR, that's a voltage sensitive relay, right? It's basically, it senses one battery, that'd be this battery, because it's the one that's being charged, and when it reaches voltage X, probably tell you on this actually, no, it doesn't tell you there, right? It doesn't tell you there, but I can tell you roughly, but that's all they are, they're only about that, and about that's fine. So when the voltage of this battery gets up to about 13.2, this connects the charging from this battery to charge this one also. This is the sensing battery at this side. When this battery voltage drops to 12.8, which is still a very good battery voltage, this relay disconnects, so this battery doesn't get drained. That's why this one's your accessory battery running your fridge, okay? Hope you understand that. For many, I'll say it again, for many years people running, whether it's 1KDs, V6s, 1KZs, even better for the charging side of it, higher voltage, this is all they've used, and it can charge 2 batteries, okay? You do not need a DC-DC charger, okay? Now, I can tell you that, and I know that because I've seen it, and I know people have done it for many years, including myself, okay? Now, you can add, if you could get into the box here, you can add on the 1KDs, you can add a little voltage booster. There's a bloke by the name of Lee W. He's in Greensboro in Victoria. I think he's a retired auto elect. And it's just like, he's obviously built modified. It's a cheap component, but some people say, oh, I can make my own. Well, you go make your own. These are for the people that aren't making their own. It's just a little fuse like that, and it replaces one of the fuses in here, little red 10 amp fuse, I think it is. It's about $50, and it increases your alternator voltage charge rate by about 0.5 to 0.6 of an amp. So where you would normally be at 13.3, you'll be at 13.9, because it is a variable alternator. When you're at 14, you'd be at 14.6. Generally in the 120, I see anything from about 13.8 through to about 14.4 sometimes, thereabouts. That's the range that I see, because it does vary. So even without the booster, you're still going to see, rarely is it going to go below 13.5, and if it does, it's because it probably hasn't got a load at the other end. If you've got a flat battery, unlikely that's going to happen. There's plenty of people that run these alone with the standard 1 kD charging system without a booster diode, and it charges both the batteries. Now, the other thing to consider is if you're at a campsite, you're plugged on solar, connect your solar direct to this battery, and it'll charge anyway. Because these batteries, if you're not asking too much of them, I'm not saying this battery in particular, this brand, you know I don't like that one because it's black, but in general, it's still going to have, as long as it's not shagged, it's going to have enough juice to run everything for as long as you need to until the sun comes out next, generally. All this talk about DC chargers, you know, and you need this and you need that. I'm not saying you need that. On our 2019 1GD, we saw a consistent charge voltage of 13.8 volts, which in my opinion is enough to charge the 2 batteries. We put a DC charger so we could experience that for ourselves firsthand, and for the charging from the engine running alternator to this battery through the DC to charge auxiliary battery worked really well. We used the projector and we weren't happy with the solar input, the solar charging scenario. We've since used the same panels and everything with the cheap regulator that comes with the panels direct to the batteries, and it works just fine. So the solar control side of the projector, maybe there was something wrong with it, maybe I just don't like it. But from some of the videos I put up, if you look at the comments, a lot of people had similar problems with solar charging using DC chargers. In particular, some comments about the projector. So we certainly won't be using one of those again. Once is enough for me with something like that. The components that I'm undecided whether I'm going to put a Red Arc BC DC 1225 or a Red Arc, because I like the fact that you can jump start from this, and I like the simplicity of this unit. So knowing that I've got a 13.8 volt output that's consistent for 60,000 Ks of monitoring, I'm quite confident using a unit like this will charge both the batteries. So I'm probably going to do that so we can see. But then again, I might get excited because I really love that K-on bracket that goes down in behind here on the Prados with that DC charger, because it just looks good. It just looks great, and then you've got your solar plug there and whatever. So it could go either way. There is a way you can wire up both those Red Arcs, but it does get expensive because then you've got your DC charger and this. You know, charge is going to be $400 or $500, or it depends what you pay for it, where you get it. This is going to be $100 or $200, so it's going to be, you know, $600 worth or something to have both of them, so that you can have the capability of 100% isolation of this battery, which I don't know if there's going to be a problem with the Red Arc or not. I don't hear of that from people, but sometimes you need to do it yourself to actually see for yourself, because it's happening to people and they don't know it perhaps. So the way to 100% be isolated is have an isolator. And like I said, there's a way you can wire it up. I think it's the instructions on their website. I'm not recommending you do that. I'm saying I may do that. I may use just one of these, just one of those, whatever. Just thought we'd talk about it anyway. I think these are very reliable. They're one of the most used items under the bonnet of vehicles. Goes hand in hand with, you know, the old OME suspension people used to use, until now they're using Dobinsons and the Optima batteries and the BFG tyres and all this sort of thing, right? The Red Arc SBI 12, I think, is the number, if I remember correctly. There it is, it's right there, look at that. SBI 12, right? SBI 12, 100 amp, that's the jigger. I think you get them on eBay for about $150, something like that. I think they're a bit expensive for what they are. It's probably worth about 100, but you know, it's what it is. You do it once, you use quality, and that's it. Anyway, guys, that's the video. I hope you've enjoyed everything we've talked about and you've been educated. Another piece of the million-piece jigsaw puzzle. Hit the like button, subscribe, turn the bell on. I'm out of here. Have a good one. See ya.